So Superman released and ran along without any major issues. Then Supergirl released and couldn't even recover the money invested. The film basically flopped hard. And now DC's next film's trailer has just released, the trailer for Clayface. So far, whatever we've seen in this DC film universe by James Gunn have been proper superhero movies. But this Clayface is actually one of Batman's villains. So this would be a film sort of similar to how we've seen Joker done, a villain-centered film. Not only that, this is also DC's first ever body horror movie. When I say body horror, you'd have already seen a film called Substance. This would be a film in that same vein but centered on our Clayface character. A teaser for this had already released earlier, and now the full-length trailer has come out. Right at the start, it shows Gotham City itself. So Superman came, we saw Gotham City, even Batman's villain has shown up. But where's Batman? To actually save DC, he needs to show up. Batman. Anyway, let's set that aside and look at what this trailer actually shows us, what angle this story is going to take. Actually, this isn't the first time we're seeing this Clayface character. This film is essentially a prequel, meaning an original story set before something we've already seen. You might wonder, where have we seen Clayface before? Within this same DC continuity, there was an animated series called Creature Commandos, where Clayface was already shown as a spy character. At that point in time, Clayface had already transformed into his original comic form and become a full villain. To stop him, our character Rick Flag went in and there was a fight between Clayface and Rick Flag, during which Clayface actually bites off or consumes part of Rick Flag's spine. Later, we saw Rick Flag Sr. in the Peacemaker series, presumably having gotten his back fixed by that point in time. So this movie is likely a prequel to that storyline. Meaning the time period this Clayface film is set in is actually before the Superman movie takes place, because in that Superman film, we already saw Rick Flag Sr. Since that and Peacemaker are in the same continuity, this film probably takes place even before both of those events.
So the hero of this film, our Mr. Hagen, is shown as a hero within this film's own world, meaning he's portrayed as an up-and-coming star, a hero within this universe. Right at the trailer's opening, there's a woman near our Hagen. He's already wearing that mask at this point, and she's sitting near him asking what he needs. That's when he says his life has essentially been taken from him, because at that point, he was a rising star slowly climbing up in Hollywood. As we all know, how important a film star's face is to their career, the moment that face is gone, the person's value crashes. And that's exactly what happened to him. He lost that face. How did it happen? He got caught in some kind of fight, and a group of people ganged up on him, badly vandalizing and damaging his face. So, trying to reclaim his career and his face, he ends up going through with an experiment. Now here's where events start unfolding. The original Clayface story here draws inspiration from two sources, one comic and one animated series, and combines them to set up his origin story in this film. In Batman's animated series, when Clayface first appears, that episode's origin story goes like this. Our Mad Hagen is an up-and-coming actor. At some point, an accident happens to his face, and to fix it, he applies something like a substance, a chemical-like product onto his face. That chemical's effect only lasts temporarily on his body. So to make it permanent, he goes to the developer who created that chemical, who turns out to be a gangster. Because he keeps going back asking for this, the gangster eventually says, "You're going against me," and beats up Mad Hagen, dousing his entire body in that chemical. That chemical then transforms his whole body, turning him into Clayface. That's one origin story. Additionally, there's also a comic called Clayface One Bad Day, where Clayface, already possessing his powers, tries to reclaim his acting career. In that story, since he can now reshape his face however he wants, he wonders, why not go back to Hollywood and rebuild his career using this ability, returning to acting? These two storylines are what this Clayface film seems to be adapting to tell his origin story. The trailer itself shows this clearly. Because his face was vandalized and damaged, everyone now calls him a freak. His face is essentially gone. Wanting to reclaim his career, he volunteers for a human trial, specifically a human trial for a substance. An earlier poster revealed what this substance is called. It's a medicine named Gotham New Face Regenerative Medicine. Learning about this, our Matt Hagen, hoping to get his face back, volunteers for the human trial, believing it might restore his face. He goes through with his human trial partly because he's already grown tired of life. Given the state his face is currently in, nothing good seems to be coming his way anymore. So his mindset is essentially, even if this kills me, that's fine. At least I'd find some peace. And if it works, even better. That's the mentality with which he undergoes this trial. After the medicine is injected, initially it looks like his face is being reconstructed properly. And afterward, it seems like there's no problem at all. But even the woman who developed this medicine doesn't fully know what she's dealing with. She doesn't know what side effects it might have, nor how to treat any potential complications since this hasn't been tested before. So slowly, this experiment starts affecting him. While sitting on a plane, he just rubs his eye lightly, and his eye actually shuts, collapses from that light touch. He goes to the bathroom and using scissors tries to cut it open to force his eye back open. When Clayface looks in the mirror, though he doesn't notice anything wrong with his own face when looking directly, in the mirror's reflection, his face appears to be melting without him even realizing it. It's suggested that his own emotions might be triggering these transformations. That's what's implied here. The trailer makes it clear. Not only did the people he trusted betray him, but he also never received the justice he deserved. In Gotham City, there's no shortage of problems, drugs, alcohol, robbery, every kind of crime imaginable. But there's no Batman around to stop any of it. Where is Batman? So in that sense, it becomes a revenge story too. He lost his money, his career, everything. So this is partly about reclaiming all of that. At some point, we see a shot of Clayface seemingly taking full control over his own transformation, sitting in what looks like a bathtub, having mastered his ability to shift shapes at will. Also, this film gives Clayface his own tagline, similar to how the previous two DC films gave their characters taglines. Superman got "Look Up," representing hope, Supergirl got "Look Out," representing truth, and now Clayface's tagline is "Look fear in the face," essentially making him a symbol of fear. You might think, fear naturally connects to Batman, right? Perhaps Batman is the one who'll ultimately deliver justice here.
At the very end of the trailer, there's a glimpse of Clayface's full transformation into his monstrous form, likely the same form we already saw in Creature Commandos. Honestly, we probably should have seen Clayface in an actual Batman movie by now. There's already The Batman, Matt Reeves' film, set as an Elseworld story in DC's lineup, and the original plan was reportedly to bring Clayface into that Batman film as the villain. But that idea apparently got picked up by James Gunn instead and brought over into the main DC universe, which is what's now becoming this standalone Clayface film. Since they're making a whole movie centered on one of Batman's villains, if there isn't at least a hint of Batman somewhere in it, that would honestly be a letdown. They're already showing Gotham City, Batman's whole world. If Batman himself doesn't show up at all, that would feel like a real misstep. DC has actually already seen something similar happen over at Marvel. They took Spider-Man's villain Venom and built an entire standalone trilogy around him, portraying Venom almost like an anti-hero. Similarly, here, Clayface is a Batman villain, and there's a question of whether this film is going to try to make him some kind of heroic figure too. I doubt it. I think there's a good chance they'll give him a sympathetic backstory, but ultimately still portray him as a villain. And honestly, I hope that's the direction they take, rather than fully turning him into a hero. Honestly speaking, DC has already released most of the easy projects they have lined up. Supergirl came, Superman came. There's a Green Lantern series coming up too. Plus, Creature Commandos and Peacemaker as a side character alongside Superman as the main lead. But even with all that, one crucial main dish hasn't arrived yet, like a meal without the curry. The actual main course, Batman, still hasn't arrived. Only once Batman properly arrives will the whole meal feel complete. Honestly, it would make the most sense for them to just bring Matt Reeves' Batman into the main DCU and establish him there. That would make it much easier for audiences to connect everything together, rather than going through the trouble of casting and introducing a whole new, separate Batman. So far, no casting has even been announced for a new DCU Batman. There have been plenty of rumors about actors being considered, but nothing's been confirmed yet. Who knows when they'll even start shooting, let alone release it.
Just like how Marvel has these Spider-Man films that always do well regardless of quality because it's Spider-Man, the same logic applies to DC with Batman. No matter what, a Batman film will be a hit simply because it's Batman. Anyway, in 2028, or whichever year, the Matt Reeves Batman sequel is set to release. but that one is confirmed to be an Elseworlds story with no connection to this main DCU continuity. Honestly, it would have been nice if they just connected the two. Hopefully, they'll have the good sense to do that eventually. So let me know your thoughts and suggestions about this trailer down in the comments below. See you all in the next video. Bye.